Rural America. Beautiful, diverse, complex, full of promise, and at a crossroads. Rural America has faced great economic and demographic shifts over the past century. The ripple effects continue to be felt in all aspects of life. The Smithsonian's exhibition, Crossroads, Change in Rural America, asks us to explore the ways that rural communities manage the impacts of change and how they envision their future. How will rural communities face the challenges of today and seize the opportunities of tomorrow? To face the many challenges of the 21st century, rural communities must examine their strengths and their weaknesses. Many communities struggle with lack of access to healthcare, education, housing, and economic opportunities. Some towns have taken new approaches to tourism, technology, agriculture, and the arts to kickstart a brighter future. How are rural communities today managing change?
In our lifetime, we have seen so much change from the time we were children to now. I mean, I grew up on Forsyth Street, and Forsyth Street, the pavement ended at the top of the hill. And then it was dirt road from there out all the way to the river, out Highway 83, and there was a ferry across the river.
Current work and businesses in Brunswick today is a lot different than it was in my day as growing up as a youth in Brunswick. Potomac Street was bustling with stores and all kinds of stores, grocery stores, a five and dime, a dry cleaners, restaurants. Today it's different if you look. Our downtown's struggling to make a comeback, but back then people that lived in Brunswick pretty much worked on the railroad. Now that's different.
When I was growing up, we had a huge Georgia Pacific plant that employed a lot of people, and it allowed people to stay and live and work in Monticello. And we don't have very many jobs for people in Monticello anymore.
You hear about cities dying out. A lot of times that's why they die out. The kids go to college and they move off and they never come back. If everybody kept moving off, you just keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So we got to make it a place where people want to come back.
While many recognize the need for change, it can be challenging to undertake.
The great thing about the Delta is that it maintains many traditions. People speak and they wave and they embrace and they hug and they talk. But at the same time, there are age-old issues related to race and sex and class that no matter what the iteration is over decades, they seem to stay fixed in place.
We can't be too closed-minded and think, well, this is the way we've always done things, or this is the way it's always been. There are a lot of good things and a lot of good traditions to hold on to. I'm not saying that, but we can't be afraid of things changing.
And I think the simple act of honest dialogue within the citizenry can make a huge difference for some of the bigger issues that we face in our democracy.
Rural communities and farmers across the country are finding ways to survive and to thrive.
Sustainable is kind of the foundation of what our farm is. And it's doing that environmentally, and it's also doing it economically. Economically, it's bringing more returns to the farm, it's giving more opportunity for growth, and it's just a strong business model. You always have to be able to adapt. That's what you need to be able to do in this industry, is you can't be afraid to try or change.
The opportunity for the wind farms came along, and when you look at the farm economy and the return per acre for having the wind farms there, that's a better return than I'll ever get from growing corn or beans or otherwise. We've got wind farms, we've got a solar farm going up on our farm. There's other farms in the county building solar farms. It's one more time that we don't have to burn a fossil fuel, we don't have to burn coal. It's alternative energy, and we need to be looking at that.
The connections between rural and urban communities have never been more important.
Rural places need to be recognized as important by the urban places nearby because we are totally interdependent. As long as you get urban people more interested in what happens in the land where food is grown, then I think there can be a whole new generation of businesses and opportunities.
And I see that there's a lot of really exciting things happening in rural communities today. People are, a variety of things, whether it's farm-to-table restaurants or connections developing between farms and towns, or towns really developing more activities, more ways to engage their young people, getting young people involved. I see that there's a lot of ways that we can move forward to build a better future, a future that we as a community would like to see.
It's hard to predict what's going to happen in agriculture. The future doesn't scare me, the future excites me.
What elements of your community have experienced the greatest change? How have people reacted to that change? What does your community need to thrive? What do young people in your community need the most? Small towns have changed over the past century. Many are reshaping and re-envisioning their communities for the future. Tell a story about what changes your town has faced. Share your story with a friend. Participate in a program led by your State Humanities Council. Or talk back to the Smithsonian by visiting museumonmainstreet.org and let us hear your story.